Something changed with credit cards, and millions of Americans never noticed. No
Hmm.
emergency alert appeared on their phone. No dramatic
Atenção
announcement warned them
escolhidona.
that their money was slowly disappearing. Instead, the changes happened quietly. A small increase in interest rates, a new fee they didn't expect, a reward program that became less valuable. Nothing that feels big enough to worry about. But these small changes can add up. And the most dangerous part is this. Most people don't lose money because they are careless. They lose money because they assume everything is still the same. They choose a credit card once, trust it, and stop paying attention. And that is exactly where the problem begins. Because the credit card sitting in your wallet today might not work the same way it did when you first got it. Meet Jordan. Jordan is 29 years old and lives in Atlanta. She has a stable job, a good credit score, and 2 credit cards she has used for years. Jordan is not someone who spends without thinking. She checks her accounts. She tracks her purchases. She tries to make responsible financial decisions. She believes she understands her money. But one day, while reviewing her credit card statement, she noticed something strange. One charge looked different. Then, she noticed another change. So, she decided to investigate. After looking through her account details, Jordan realized something important. The credit card she had trusted for years was not exactly the same card she originally signed up for. The terms had changed. The costs had changed. The benefits had changed. And she never noticed. Jordan didn't make a terrible financial mistake. She didn't go on a shopping spree. She didn't ignore her bills. She simply didn't realize the rules around her money had changed. And that happens to millions of people. Because most people think of credit cards as simple tools. You swipe, you pay, you collect rewards. But behind that plastic card is a complicated financial system designed around one thing: making money. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. Credit card companies are businesses. Businesses exist to make profits. The problem happens when customers stop paying attention. Because when you stop paying attention, small changes can slowly become expensive. The biggest danger for many credit card users is interest, especially if you carry a balance from month to month. A credit card balance can feel harmless. Maybe you spend a few $100s. Maybe you tell yourself, I'll pay it off next month. But then another expense appears. Then another. And suddenly the balance stays there. The problem is that interest starts working against you. Imagine you have a $3,000 credit card balance. The bank is not just waiting for you to pay back the money. It is charging you for the privilege of borrowing it. And the longer you carry that balance, the more money leaves your pocket. The scary part is that many people focus only on the monthly payment. They think, I can afford $100 this month, but they don't ask, how much will this actually cost me over time? Banks understand that people think in monthly numbers. That is why the total cost can be easy to ignore. The smarter question is not, can I make the payment? The smarter question is, how much is this decision costing me? Credit card rewards sound amazing. Cashback, travel points, special bonuses. And sometimes they really can be useful. But many people make one mistake. They focus on the reward and forget the bigger picture. A card giving you 2% cashback sounds better than 1%. But if the card has higher fees or encourages you to spend more than planned, the reward may not actually help you. The biggest trick with rewards is psychological. They make spending feel like winning. You buy something and think, I got points. But the question is, would I have bought this if there was no reward? Because a discount on unnecessary spending is still unnecessary spending. The best credit card users are not the people who collect the most points. They are the people who use rewards without changing their spending habits. Now here is where things get interesting. The reason many people miss financial changes is not because they are bad with money. It is because of human psychology. Our brains are designed to notice sudden changes. If your credit card suddenly doubled the interest rate overnight, you would probably pay attention. But when changes happen slowly, the brain adapts. A slightly higher fee, a slightly different reward, a slightly higher cost. Each individual change feels normal. Psychologists call this change blindness. It means people often fail to notice changes in things they see regularly. Your credit card statement looks familiar. Your app looks familiar. Your monthly routine feels familiar. So your brain says, everything is fine, even when something important has changed. This is why financial awareness matters, not because you need to become an expert, but because you need to pay attention. There is another psychological trap called status quo bias. This means people prefer keeping things the way they are, even when another option might be better. Think about Jordan. If someone showed her a new credit card today with expensive fees and weak rewards, she would probably say no. But because she already has her card, already uses it, and already knows how it works, changing feels like a lot of effort. So she stays. Millions of people do the same thing. They keep the same bank, the same credit card, the same financial habits, not because they are perfect, because changing feels uncomfortable. But your loyalty should not cost you money. The good news is protecting yourself does not require hours of research. Start with 4 simple steps. First, know your numbers. Open your credit card app and check your interest rate, your annual fee, your current rewards. If you don't know these 3 things, you are making decisions without knowing the rules. Second, review your credit cards once or twice a year. Don't wait until there is a problem. Treat your credit cards like any other financial product. Compare them. Ask, is this still the best option for me? Third, automate your payments. Late fees and interest charges are some of the easiest financial mistakes to avoid. Set up automatic payments so human error doesn't cost you money. Fourth, read important emails from your bank. Not every message matters, but some do. The boring email you ignore today could contain information that affects your money tomorrow. The lesson here is not that credit cards are bad. Credit cards can be useful. They can help build credit. They can provide rewards. They can make payments easier. The problem is using a financial product without understanding it. Because the companies behind these products are paying attention. They analyze spending. They study behavior. They optimize their systems. You should do the same. Jordan eventually reviewed her accounts. She compared her options. She changed the card that no longer matched her needs. She automated her payments. And she created a simple reminder to review her finances regularly. It took only a few hours. But those few hours protected hundreds of dollars. And that is the real lesson. Your money does not only disappear through big mistakes. Sometimes it disappears through small things you never notice. A fee here. A higher interest rate there. A reward that quietly becomes less valuable. The people who build wealth are not always the people who earn the most. They are often the people who pay attention to the small details. Because small financial decisions repeated over years create big financial results. So take a few minutes today. Open your credit card app. Check your numbers. Understand what you are paying for. Because the credit card in your wallet should be working for you, not quietly working against you. If this helped you see money differently, subscribe to Money Theory. Because understanding how money works is the first step toward building more of it.